Matthew Perry walked onto the Friends set every morning for 10 years. Millions watched him make people laugh as Chandler Bing, but nobody knew the truth. He was high during every single episode. Season 3 was the worst. He was taking 55 pills a day and weighed just 128 pounds. His teeth fell out while eating toast. Yet somehow he never missed a day off filming. The cast had no idea what was happening until Jennifer Aniston said 5 words that changed everything. What she told him backstage will shock you. Matthew Langford Perry was born on August 19, 1969 in Williamstown, Massachusetts. But his life didn't stay quiet for long. His father, John Bennett Perry, was already an actor, and his mother, Suzanne Morrison, was rising fast in Canadian politics. In 1966, she had been crowned Miss Canadian University Snow Queen. Just a few months before giving birth, she became press secretary to Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau. So when baby Matthew cried in their home in Ottawa, his mother was dealing with cabinet meetings, media chaos, and national headlines. The marriage between John and Suzanne didn't last long. They split in 1970, just before Matthew turned 1. It was the start of a life defined by distance, pressure, and the desperate need to be noticed. By age 5, Matthew was already flying alone between his mama's home in Canada and his dad's place in Los Angeles. He was an unaccompanied minor, not just on planes, but in life. When Suzanne remarried in 1981 to journalist Keith Morrison, Matthew's world changed again. New siblings came fast. Caitlin was born in 1981, Emily in 1985, Will in 1987, and Meline in 1989. His father remarried to Debbie Boley, and they had a daughter Maria in 1986. In just 8 years, Matthew went from being an only child to having 5 half-siblings on 2 sides. Heath would later describe their household as a mix you couldn't recreate by hand, with Matthew always at the center but never fully belonging. He loved his siblings but felt invisible. He later said their arrivals only deepened the hole he already carried inside him. That same year, at age 10, something inside Matthew cracked. He started stealing money from his mother's purse to buy cigarettes. He was attending Rockcliffe Park Public School in Ottawa. But his grades collapsed and his anger grew. He beat up classmates and started toilet himself. That anger kept building until one day he and a friend beat up another student. The boy's name was Justin Trudeau. Matthew later admitted it wasn't about anything deep. Trudeau was good at sports and Matthew hated that. The fight was pure jealousy. The strange twist was that Trudeau's father, Pierre, was Suzanne's boss. Years later, when Justin became Prime Minister, he joked on Twitter about our match. But Matthew turned it down, saying he couldn't fight someone with an actual army. While his home life spun in circles, Matthew found one thing that gave him structure: tennis. He started at age 4, and by 13, he was ranked number 2 in Ottawa. He hit the court 10 hours a day. Some said he reached number 17 in junior singles and number 3 in doubles nationally. Scouts watched. He trained hard. Heath drove him to matches and watched him play with obsession, but one match in Los Angeles ended everything. Matthew got crushed. He said the look on his family's face afterward told him they were disappointed. That loss broke something in him. The dream was gone. So he pivoted. In 1984, at 15, he moved to Los Angeles to live full-time with his father. John Bennett Perry was known nationally for Old Spice commercials. At school, Matthew was the Old Spice guy son. He enrolled at Buckley School in Sherman Oaks, a private prep school his father paid for. He joined theater and landed lead roles, even getting praise from actress Patty Duke. A director staged The Elephant Man just for him, but Matthew dropped out to take a film role in A Night in the Life of Jimmy Aaron with River Phoenix. He was just 18. At the same time, he joined LA Connection, an improv group in Sherman Oaks. His quick timing and sarcasm made him stand out immediately. But offstage, the alcohol had already started. At 14, he had his first drink, Budweiser and Baby Duck wine. By 18, he was drinking every day. It wasn't for fun. It was to silence the noise inside. The drinking later became vodka, Vicodin, Xanax, OxyContin, but never heroin. Acting auditions and substance use blended into one messy escape route. He wanted to feel better. He wanted to be seen. But nothing worked. He had small acting roles in Charles in Charge, Silver Spoons, and The Tracy Ullman Show. In 1987, at 18, he got his first starring role in Second Chance, a show with a strange time travel plot. It branded as Boys Will Be Boys, but lasted just one season. On set, Matthew felt alone. In his memoir, he said he felt like that unaccompanied minor again, floating through rooms, pretending to belong. His family didn't know how to help. His father once told him after a school play that he was good enough to worry about, half proud, half threatened. His mother, still working long hours, told him to keep a journal, but he felt more distant than ever. His siblings clapped for him at school plays, but he felt like a guest in their lives. He started stealing again. He kept smoking. He kept drinking. In 1988, he landed a bigger role in Just the 10 of Us, a spin-off from Growing Pains. He played a frat boy named Moose. Loud, cocky, chasing girls. But Matthew gave the character something extra. Beneath the jokes was pain, and casting directors noticed. In Who's the Boss, he played another sharp teenage teen and started ad-libbing lines about broken families, lines that weren't in the script, but were pulled straight from his own childhood. He later said he learned early that jokes could calm his overwhelmed mother. Then came the role that would haunt him. In 1989 on Growing Pains, he played Sandy, the boyfriend of Carol Siver. Sandy drinks and drives, crashes his car, and dies suddenly from internal bleeding. It was one of the most powerful moments in sitcom history, and while it was fiction, it hit Placido home. At the time of filming, Matthew was already drinking. He was just 18 that the next year on Beverly Hills 90210, Matthew had his first major panic attack. On set, his body shook. He thought he was dying. He was scared, but didn't tell anyone. That anxiety would stay with him forever. Decades later, during the reunion, he told the cast that he felt like he was going toady before every taping. Lisa Kudrow was stunned. She said he never told them. In 1993, he landed another lead role, Home Free. He played a reporter living at home whose life gets upended when his sister and her kids move in. It premiered on March 31st and got solid ratings at first, but critics destroyed it. One called it a living hell. Ratings dropped by episode 2. The show was canceled after just 5 episodes. 11 were filmed. Only 11 aired. It was his third failed sitcom. He was 23 and everything felt like it was slipping away again. In 1994, Matthew Perry had nothing. His manager told him he had no money and the only role he had was in a failed sci-fi pilot where he played baggage handler in the year 2194. He was desperate, scared, and nearly broke when the script for a new show came into his hands. It was called Friends Like Us back then. He read just a few lines and something inside him shifted. He later said it felt like the character of Chandler jumped off Feppage, shook his hand, and said, "This is you, man." He didn't just think he could play the part. He believed he was Chandler. He knew it so deeply that he started calling his agents every few days, begging for a chance to read. Booth wasn't even allowed to audition because of his commitment to that other show. It was completely off the cuff and became one of his favorites. But behind the comedy, his body was changing. Fans started tinnitus. His weight dropped. His face thinned out. By season 3, he was just 128 pounds. That was the year he was taking up to 55 Vicodin pills every single day. In the beach episode that aired in 1997, you can see it. His body looks frail, his eyes sunken. He checked into rehab again that year, but came back to finish filming right after. In season 4, he flew to London for the wedding episodes. He and Matt LeBlanc weren't allowed to talk to the press, but they were the stars now. Perry ad-libbed many of Chandler's one-liners, and the writers let some of them stay. He was on fire, his timing, his delivery, his face, a laugh that made Chandler unforgettable, but no one saw how bad his pain had gotten. He was hiding it well, but the addiction kept growing. He started faking injuries to get more pills. Sometimes he even went to open houses and stole prescription bottles. He said people never suspected Chandler would. Hat. In 2000, between seasons 5 and 6, Harry's body finally collapsed. He was rushed to Cedars-Sinai with pancreatitis caused by alcohol. He was still earning $750,000 an episode, but he was spending over $200,000 on therapy. That year, had directed his first Friends episode, Theon with the Joke. It aired on January 13, 2000. His weight was down to 145 pounds. He arrived at 5 a.m. every day just to sit in makeup and hide the damage. But somehow he got his only Emmy nomination in 2002. The season 7 finale in May 2001 was watched by 30.1 million people. Chandler and Monica got married. Perry wore the tux. But in between takes, his hands were shaking. He vomited twice. He was in full withdrawal. When the director called wrap, Harry's sober companion walked him straight to a truck waiting outside the studio. They drove him directly to Malibu rehab. He was still in costume. He weighed just 128 pounds, the network thought he had the flu. Lisa Kudrow called it the saddest celebration party they ever had. By season 8, Jennifer Aniston had noticed his voice was slurring. During one shoot, he messed up 14 takes in a row. On October 22, 2002, during a coffee break, she pulled him aside and said, "We can smell the alcohol on you." It wasn't a joke, the whole cast got together and told him he'd walk if he didn't get help. He entered outpatient rehab, but didn't stop filming. He went to AA meetings at 6:00 a.m. before his call times at 7:30. He never missed a day in 10 seasons, not once. Season 9 was different. Harry was finally sober for the full year. From July 2003 to May 2004, he stayed clean. He requested the adoption storyline for Chandler and Monica because it mirrored what he was going through, trying to build something good out of a broken past. On his 35th birthday, August 19, 2003, he celebrated 1 year sober on set with a mocktail party. His weight was back to 172 pounds. He attended 90 LA meetings in 90 days. He even bought a sober living house in Malibu and donated it quietly to help others. He said that was the only season he truly remembered enjoying being Chandler Bing. The finale aired on May 6, 2004 to 52.5 million viewers. It was the 4th most watched series finale ever. Chandler set his apartment keys down at 7:42 p.m. Perry remembered that exact time. It haunted him. Just 72 hours after they wrapped filming, he relapsed. He tried heroin for the first time. He was in his $20 million mansion. He injected twice. Then called his sponsor. Doctors said it was laced with fentanyl. He was 10 minutes from death when they got him to Cedars-Sinai. He quit opioids after that, but the damage was done. While his character walked into a happy life with marriage and twins, Harry was alone, thinking about ending his own. He made more movies after Friends, but most of them failed. The whole 10 Yards lost millions. Serving Sarah shut down for 2 months while he went to rehab. Birds Off America went nowhere. His last real hit was 17 Again in 2009, which made $139 million. After that, he mostly disappeared from theaters. He tried TV again with Mr. Sunshine in 2011. The ratings collapsed. The show was canceled. Behind the scenes, he was having panic attacks. He couldn't hold it together. On February 11, 2016, Matthew Perry stepped onto the stage at London's Playhouse Theatre for something he had written himself. It was called The End of Longing, a dark comedy that didn't go to Broadway like he'd first hoped, but still sold over 62,000 tickets and made more than $2 million in London's West End. He played Jack, a broken alcoholic photographer trying to fall in love with an escort. And it wasn't just acting, Jack was him. He said things on stage that no one had heard out loud from him before, like how alcohol had ruined his body, even causing erectile dysfunction. The monologues made people go silent. They weren't just watching a play. They were watching a man bleed the truth in front of them. When the show moved off-Broadway in New York on June 5, 2017 with Jennifer Morrison joining the cast, it didn't